my life was just feeling like it was just go. I was like, one day I remember crying, even Googling, waking up in the night and Googling and seeing, is there more to life? Like, it can't be, this cannot be it. I was like, is this happiness? Is this it? It can't be it. There has to be something that we have to stop. Like, I have to come back and be like, just to even enjoy these things you're doing. Like I said, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe actually God had this happen. It is not easy or smooth by any stretch, because first of all, now you're everything. There are times when things get challenging, where you think you want to give up. It reminded me, God is here and he knows, and that's why, because that peace I felt, that can't be peace from the world. I knew this is it, and God told me, I got you. Don't just survive it, like, own it and ask yourself, what is this teaching me?
Today's guest is someone who spent years teaching others on happiness whilst quietly neglecting their own wellness. She's the founder of Zippy Consulting Group and the creator of the Inner Home Happiness Framework, helping people build lives that feel successful on the inside and not just impressive on the outside. But here's what makes this conversation so powerful. There came a point in her life when the person teaching happiness realized she wasn't actually living it. She was measuring her worth by how much she achieved, how productive she was, and how many people she helped. But from the outside, everything looked successful. Internally, something wasn't right. It wasn't until something happened that forced her to stop that she began asking questions that many of us avoid. What happens when the life you've built looks so good on paper? It doesn't feel so good to live in. Today's conversation, we're talking about happiness, a burnout, identity, self-worth, and why so many high achievers spend years chasing success while feeling disconnected from themselves. And I encourage you to stay right to the end, because Dr. Zippy shares a perspective on happiness that challenges the way I think about achievement, fulfillment, and what it really means to build a life that feels like home. So let's get into it.
I have a black belt in failure, where I've set goals and abandoned them, and I've burnt out while checking every box that was supposed to make me happy. And I've had moments where I've looked at life on paper and thought, this should feel better than it does. Like when you look at my resume, it looks great. On paper, I look very, very accomplished, right? I have a PhD, I have an MBA, I've worked for Fortune 500 companies. I am a professor. Like, everything seemed wonderful. But Sandy, my life was just feeling like it was just go. I was like, one day I remember crying, even Googling, waking up in the night and Googling and seeing, is there more to life? Like, it can't be, this cannot be it. It just feels like it's just go. There's no, I didn't feel, that wusa, like, like it just felt like, is this it? It's a treadmill. It didn't stop. And I was getting bigger projects, which was great, but it was not aligning with my internal peace or in my internal joy. I was busy. I was super busy. And I just was like, wow. And then I said, thank God my health has been good. But I remember, so even in our family, my partner also was, his work was also like that. And I remember one day he just had a stroke. He woke up, and I remember thinking, this is what happens when you don't stop. You just keep, like if you look at our family, we look like we're good. We're doing our business is, our work is good. We are doing the things which you point. But I was like, is this happiness? Is this it? It can't be it. There has to be something that we have to stop. Like I have to come back and be like, just to even enjoy these things you're doing, like enjoy the money that comes in. Sandy, I really did not have time or money freedom because of all the work that we're doing. Again, when you're doing a lot, your standard of living goes up also very high. When you get more money, your expenses go up high, and it seemed like our time was also, I was trading time for money.
For money?
Yes. And I had to be like, oh my gosh, something has to happen. And that's when I started doing, I actually hired a coach to just find out what's going on. How can it feels like I can't stop. And that helped me start seeing things. It changed my mindset and then I was afraid because my biggest desire is to have time freedom, to be able to do things at my time, to have that choice, to do the things when I want to do them, how I want to do them, when I want to do them. I think that is the ultimate for me. And I couldn't. I just kept, it was just like, oh my gosh, we keep going and on and on and on. And guess what happened actually? I got laid off. In this organization where I'm doing so well, the organization laid off a whole bunch of people, and I was one of the people who were laid off.
Right.
And I just realized, wow, this is the opportunity for me to actually stop. It was a blessing.
Right.
It really was a blessing because I got to stop, look back, look in. And then I had to ask myself, do I want to get employed again? Or do I actually decide to do what I want to do with my time and choose, because I really wanted to have, I really talk about having choice. And when I'm employed, I really didn't have choice. I got to do the people want me to do and how they want me to do it. So I said, this is it. This is my opportunity. And I think God had been pushing me to do, because I had started doing the work, coaching on the side, and I loved coaching on the side. And I like having, so I like coaching on the side. I liked coaching. I liked this connection where I get to choose my clients, not clients being given to me. And I said, oh, maybe this is it. Maybe actually God had this happen so that I can actually venture into this business of mine where I lead the business. I lead how I want to move. And so that's what happened. So out of the challenge of being laid off, I decided, you know what? I'm going to start my business now full time. Like, this is it. I'm not looking for a job. And so this is what's been going on. So that's what helped me start my business. So I think the ultimate of being laid off is the one that actually pushed me to get into this consulting business. And I love it. Yes, I love it. That time it's scary. And as I said earlier on, some days as an entrepreneur, some days you're like, okay, maybe I need to go look for a job. But then I have to remind myself, no, the work is not yet done. My work, I think this work that I'm doing and showing people you can actually learn to be your own leader and take ownership of your life is possible. So I am taking that. So those are the things so that if I could bring what is a challenge that actually brought me to this place I am at, that's exactly what accelerated it. I've always been an entrepreneur, but I always
Yeah.
had that safety of the job, you know. I,
Right.
I had the safety of the job where I'm like, okay, at least I have a job. If anything happens, you have a fallback. But then until I lost the job, then I was like, do I really have then I have to really own myself and trust that I can do this, and I can because at work I generated millions of money for the organization. I was like, I can do this for myself. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
possible. But until you're put in this situation, you don't even know your capacity. So for me,
That's right.
that challenge has brought me to know what my capacity is. Like, I have so much capacity. And not only do I have capacity, I'm capable of doing it, you know? Yeah.
Brilliant. Awesome. Awesome. So you were literally, we can just say you literally put on the edge,
Yes. I
and
was
you
thrown off
just
the
took,
edge.
yeah, and you took the lemons and you turned them to lemonade.
Yes.
So let's get a bit more practical, because it sounds all nice on paper to say that I finally started the business of my dreams after
Yes.
being laid off. What was it really like when you started that business? Now you're faced with the reality. I don't have my job anymore, which was a safety net, and
Yes.
now I have to start the business of my dreams. It's exciting, but has it always been exciting from day one? What was that experience
The
like?
the the business is exciting. The work, what
Hmm.
we can do is exciting. But
Yeah.
what it is not easy or smooth by any stretch. Because first of all, now
Hmm.
you're everything, You are
Hmm.
the back end, you're the front end, you're the accountant, you're the tax person, you're the marketing, you're the lead generator ish.
Hmm.
Where this I'm still in it even now. It's still,
Hmm.
I can't say like now I'm looking back and saying, oh, that passed. No, it's still, just being honest, in my work, I'm still trying to navigate all that, like, so what does that, how do I delegate? How do I cast my vision to somebody
Yeah.
else? At what point do I hire somebody to take on part of
Hmm.
the work? And those are challenges I have every day. I have to think, okay, maybe I'll go to Fiverr and have somebody handle this for now, or
Hmm.
I'll get somebody, I'll look for a virtual assistant to support me with social media. And so those are things, but it all comes back to you. So that is a lot, especially when you're building, because my business is still young. I'm still
Hmm.
building it.
Hmm.
So those are some of my challenges. Figuring out, where will I get funding for this? Where will I get, do I want to do this? How fast, am I, how is even my offer? Because
Hmm.
sometimes I was trying to sell, I remember for a while, and I wasn't getting any bites. Nobody was biting. And I was like, what's going
Hmm.
on? Because my offer was not good. So again, um, now I work with a business coach helping me figure out some things, you know, how does this offer look like? I have to work with, how is my sales, my sales calls, am I getting enough calls? Am I practicing a lot? And oh my gosh, I've had a lot of sales calls where people have booked appointments with me and I'm trying to sell and they don't go anywhere. So
Hmm.
even just trying to figure that out, what are some of the systems I have to put in place so that I can verify people, so that I'm not constantly on calls with people who will not do the business with me. So I've had to do a lot of work on the systems, just so that I can eliminate people. And if people are interested, but they want free resources.
Freebie seekers.
Yes, so they get the freebies, so that I can just keep my calls to people who really want to work with me. And so it's a journey. It really is a journey, and it is exciting. It's still exciting. Being a business owner is exciting. And I guess because it's every day is new, I'm very involved. And what I've just learned how much capacity I have. As I said, I mentioned that in earlier on, because you are so well-rounded now. You are a salesperson, you are a finance person, you kind of know what's going on. So at an enterprise level, I'm able to make very, very strategic decisions. So what I do to date is I teach on the science and the frameworks of happiness, but also bring real talk from somebody from the trenches. What it's like. I know what it's like to start over on Tuesday after Monday's plan fell apart. So that's why I can say, that's why I say, I'm in the trenches. So what I teach and what I coach and what I bring to the table is really not only my impressive resume, but also just my experiences of just how my life happens. That's what I try and help bring transformations. As I said, my work is helping people learn how to take ownership of their lives. And I realized getting people to take happiness seriously in business, Sandy, you won't believe the eye rolls I used to get. Executives would literally say, "Oh, that's cute, but we need real results." So I stopped talking about happiness like it was sunshine and rainbows, because that's not what it is. When I say I'm a happiness trainer, people think, oh, she comes and it's happiness and sunshine and rainbows, but that's not it. I say I speak happiness, and we can talk about it. I can give a little bit. Happiness is it's being in a state of inner peace. It's where the whatever is happening in the environment, and we know right now, Sandy, how wild the volatile and uncertain and complex environment is right now. So helping people not to be in chaos all day, every day, because I used to be one of those people too. I was always, however the day is, if it's a chaotic day, even you're chaotic. If it's a nice day, even you're nice. So I wondered, there has to be a way. We can't just be going up and down, up and down. There has to be a way. And from doing the research, we found out you can actually learn how to, because one of the things I teach in leadership development is emotional intelligence. And one of the ways, the first tool we talk about is self-awareness. And self-awareness is being able to notice what's going on around you. And then the next, in my framework, I talk about self-awareness, which is metacognition. So you notice what's going on without reacting and just notice it. And then the next thing I do is we talk about self-regulation. So so if the environment is chaotic, you are not chaotic. And then if it's dull, you're not dull. So I learned I was very curious on how to get us or get me to be self-regulated, because it was exhausting. You know how exhausting it is when you're constantly, however the environment is, even you are all over the place. It's exhausting. And I was like, you can't lead well when you are in chaos. So I think it's these hardships have just made me even better as a better business person. I did not know I had that capacity. Yeah.
I love the fact that you've had to learn one or two things about yourself, and that is you had capacity which you didn't know that you have.
Yes.
And I love that you had to. I love that for you. So just take us back.
I'm so brave now. I can pitch to anyone. It doesn't matter. I don't want that. Before I used to put people in places when I think, oh, he's a CEO. No, I'm like, even me, I'm a CEO. Now
exactly. You
everybody,
are.
it's just a title, it's nothing. And people are just people, and people want good deals, people want good service, people want value. So if I can provide that,
Yeah.
then I'm confident with. So I've gotten even more confident in what I can provide. And I also know what I can't provide. So I'm able to say no. I've learned my boundaries. This doing business has just been life-changing for me. Yeah.
It's been a learning curve. It's
Yes.
been a learning
Yes.
curve for you.
Yes. So just continuing talking about challenges. There are times when things get challenging, where you think you want to give up. You know about business. You're running a business. Sometimes you're
Yeah.
like, is this business? Why should I just
Yeah.
look for employment now?
Yeah.
Because there are days on when I'd pitch to an organization or to a conference who don't get it, and and then even actually this is just this January, I was waiting for I did 3 proposals, and they were very promising when we were talking about it. But then in January, January, I just got rejection. They said they decided to go with a different vendor, and that is a challenge. But I have to remember to coach myself again and remember, if what I truly know, Sandy, if it wasn't for me, then it wasn't for me. It's just,
Yeah.
I just know. So my mentality now, if it was a no, it means it's opening up space for what is a yes for me. So the many no's you give, you get, it means, first of all, you're putting yourself out there, which is great, right? It means you're putting yourself out there enough to get all no's. Because how many yeses do you need? You just need one great yes, where someone is completely aligned with what you're doing and saying, and then it changes the trajectory of your life. So
Absolutely.
Some of the things I feel like, as I said, some days I feel like, oh, maybe I should just get a job and stop all this, because entrepreneurship is hardcore. It just does. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Not for the faint-hearted.
Yes, we know that. But then, but what keeps me going is, I'll get an email. A leader I coached last year will tell me that their team's engagement scores have doubled. Or, somebody will share that their work, that my work, I get emails which people will tell me my work helped them, reconnect with their family. Or sometimes, someone will say they understood what leadership really means. So that's what's keeping me going.
Keeps you going.
Yeah, there's proof. It's not theory, but real lives are changing. Real lives are changing. And so that, for me, even when I see the challenges, I know they still change. And every time you change one person's life, you bring light to the universe. There's light in the universe. So that's good.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. I love that. You've got the proof that keeps you going. When you kind of feel like, oh, should I go on or should I just stop? You've got the proof, you've got people that can testify, and that actually keeps you going. So just take us a few steps back, the time that you lost your job. What was happening to you, like in terms of emotionally, mentally, or spiritually? Where were you? I mean, because I want to believe that you didn't realize that it was a blessing in disguise until you got to a certain stage.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, I had constantly thought of doing my business full time, but as I said, I was always afraid, because I always had these cushy jobs which paid me plenty. So in my mind, I was like, I'll just do the job which provides my capital for my business. So, but then I could read, again, God in His wisdom, I could read the times. I knew, I was working in the tech industry, and tech industry was slammed. I don't know how it is in the UK, but there was a lot of layoffs after from 2023, 24, 24, and 2025. Layoffs, like my organization had 150,000 in the team members, and they were going to lay off up to 75,000, like half the population, half the team members. So I could see before, I could see that the trend had started. 15,000 people laid off. Then the next month, the next quarter, another 15,000. So I knew it's just a matter of time. So I was not shocked that I got laid off because I knew it had been coming on. I had seen quite a bit. But in my head, at the same time, I was still thinking, oh, if I'm laid off, I'll just get another job. So I think by the time I was being laid off, I was very much at peace, which again, I say, I don't take that for granted. I think God just had prepared me. It wasn't a shock for me. The way people are shocked.
Absolutely.
It was never a shock for me. And it just allowed me to know, it reminded me God is here and he knows. And that's why, because that peace I felt, that can't be peace from the world. I knew this is it. And God told me, I got you. I got you. And because I got you, that's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to own my income. I'm going to decide how much income I get, how much work I do. I'm going to be my own boss. And I actually did. It's by the grace of God. I did not go into a funk. You know, the way people go into a funk?
Yeah.
I did not go into a funk. But you know what? Actually, now to think about it, I had been laid off a few years ago before in another organization. That was it. What had happened is the organization closed. So they moved their offices to another place, and I was not willing to go to that other place. And so I was laid off. And I remember that one devastated me because it was, they just shifted priority. They decided they don't want it to be in this location. They want it to be in that other location. And if I want to stay on, I have to go to that other location. And I was not ready to go there. So that devastated me. So by the time we were getting laid off in this other job, I already knew, I think because I'd done coaching work, I knew how to coach myself, get myself together. Like, it didn't throw me off. I just knew I'll be all right. And that's exactly what I coach people, Sandy. It always works out. It always works out. Just knowing that. In fact, what I say is, this is how it looks like when it's working out. This
Powerful.
this is how it looks like. So I know whatever is happening, this is how it looks like when it's working out. So it's just part of the curriculum. I'm a teacher, so I create curriculums a lot. I keep saying it's part of the curriculum. And so because of that, I was ready. And that's how I know I'm prepared for this work. Because because of that, I'm able to bring somebody alongside too. So that people are not, you remember when I said thermometer? So you're not constantly in thermostat. So you're not a thermometer or a thermostat. So you're not constantly, if it's hot, even you are frantic. If it's whatever, like you want, I'm able to regulate. And because I'm able to regulate, I'm able, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I had the time to learn that before I got the layoff. Yeah.
So how did you get to learn that? Is that something that just came naturally, or you learned it through someone?
Yes. I talk about always having a mentor or a coach. I had a coach, and my coach has significantly impacted my mindset. I had a mindset coach, and that's the work that I've worked with, and to date, because your mindset is, like when you think about your consciousness, there's so much work there at the age you are that was belief systems that you had put that were set in your brain from all the years of your life, so having to deconstruct those, having to get those out. And so every day I have to ask myself, and that's part of I remember I said my first tool I talk about is self-awareness, is really thinking and asking myself, why am I thinking like this? Or why am I feeling like this? The minute you notice, you stop yourself and think. So you're not in autopilot, because most of the times we're in autopilot. We are just doing things because that's how we do it, and we're not thinking about it. But I like to stop myself and ask, why am I feeling like this? Why am I feeling excited? Why am I feeling happy? Why am I not feeling happy? Why am I feeling how I'm feeling? And then once you stop and just feel and notice what you're feeling, then you're able to decide how you want to move the next step. So
Right.
so that is the thing I've learned myself, and that's what I teach people to learn to notice what you're noticing, and notice it without judgment. Just notice, so that you're not constantly in a funk.
Yeah.
We all have a lot of baggage. We all have stuff that came in our lives, but it doesn't have to own us. So that's what I
Yeah.
know. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be the person who was laid off. That does not have to be my story. I can be the person who because who got to be her own boss. Like, it's just being able to notice and then decide, how do you want this story to shape your life? Do I want to be a victim, or do I want to be a
Yeah.
victim? So I know if I'm a victim, I don't move forward. You are constantly stuck on the past, or they did this, I
That's
did
right.
that. But I want I forward. And research I told you I do neuroscience. It shows when people who are are positive, or they are more innovative. Because when you're a victim, victim is a very victim mindset, is a very low, heavy frequency mindset. And when you're in that
Right.
mindset, you cannot be innovative. You cannot have a good, because you're constantly trying to find safety. Your
Yeah.
brain, the front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, which is a part that does executive function of that gives you executive functions, it shuts down. When you're in a victim mindset, you can never have executive decisions. You cannot make good decisions. You make decisions using the backside of your brain, which is the reptilian, which is the part, which is the old, which is the like instinct, like the animal.
Right.
So I don't want to be that. I always want my executive function to be working. So because I know I have a purpose here, and for me to do this purpose, I have to be of clear mind and do. So I do the thing, and anyone who comes to work with me, I work with them on the neuroscience of happiness and the neuroscience of how to change your habits, how to change your brain, to rewire your brain so that you are focused on the things that are leading you forward. And that's what, so we are leaning in towards good. We are leaning into the
Yeah.
things that make us move forward. So I don't want, and it's not, I'm not saying I'm super passing, or, like the trauma I'm ignoring or bypassing,
Yeah.
or toxic positivity. No, there's an actual science of people who
Right.
are positive. If you want, who have a positivity bias, they actually live 9 years longer than people who are negative. And 9 years longer, it's not 9 years of stress, it's 9 years of vibrant, dynamic life, So
Wow.
there's a lot of work to be done. And I absolutely love this work that I do. I love that I've come to this space where I'm able to guide and lead people to so that they can build the lives that they love. I want people to build lives that they love because they have the capacity to do that.
Wow, I love that. And it takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to get to that
Yes,
stage. And
yes,
I love the fact that you've had to, give us a bit of insight of what you do, talking about the neuroscience of joy,
yes,
all these kind of things. Things that people don't really understand until you really get some clarity, like you've just
yeah,
given us a bit of clarity
yeah.
on how that actually works. You can just summarize what helped you to keep going when it would have been easier for you to just stop.
I think I say learning. If you know something and you don't change, then that's just entertainment. So I'm always like, if I learn something, then there has to be a behavior change. everything I create, everything that I do, I want to know what behavior will actually shift because of this. So I want, again, remember, my work, one of my things is I'm a woman of increase. Everything that I do, I want it to add value. So this is it. I have to ask myself, what I'm doing today, what if there is are the thoughts I'm thinking about, are they going to help me add value?
Right.
Everything, because that's it. If that, so that's why I keep asking myself, is that beneficial? Is it going to help add value? So that, you remember, so I do the work on happiness. So if I'm staying in a place where I'm funky, I'm feeling shame, I'm feeling guilty, I'm like, is it adding value? No, it's taking away from you. There's no time. Things like shame, guilt, complaining, apathy, anger, they add value. So
No.
so the work of being self-aware is so critical. It's so critical to notice how am I here, what am I thinking, and just because I've thought a thing does not mean I have to believe it. So you can think a thing, because a thing thoughts are just that, they're just thoughts, and then you keep it you push it away if it's not serving you. So I want it to be, anything that I'm doing, it adds value. Everything, every conversation. So even this conversation we are having, it's, I'm hoping the people who listen to it, they'll go home and ask themselves, or when they're listening, when they're driving or whatever, whenever they're listening, what am I doing? Is it adding value? Is this thought that I'm thinking adding value? Is this behavior that I'm doing adding value? Then if it's not adding value, then stop it and change and do the one that adds value. So for me, that is what has helped me stay on the course. I'm not just helping people feel better, I'm really changing how people live and how people win. That's my mission. I want people to be able to really own their lives and win. Feel like, when you're going to bed in the night, you say, you know what, that was a great day, I won. And even if it wasn't, you can be like, you can see some good in it. You can say, you know what, I did this and it flunked, but it tells me a no is a good thing. I told you I got 3 no's this January already. A no it means you're putting yourself out there. It means you are taking charge of your life. A no should not make you be like, oh, I can't do anymore, oh my gosh, life is so hard. No, it means you put yourself out there. So that's a snap for you, and try get as many no's as you can. In fact, the more no's I get, the better I feel, because it means I've put myself out a lot. And so it's a mindset. If I've put myself out a lot and I've gotten a lot of no's, because I know ultimately I'll get a one. I'll get a yes. How many yeses? I'm only the one person. I don't need 50 yeses. I just need one yes that is a good yes.
Absolutely.
And then that one yes will bring another yes, and then many no's, and then another yes, and that's it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you just need 1 yes.
Yes.
You just need 1 yes. So for those who are currently watching this conversation, food for thought, a reminder of what Dr. Zippy said. She uses this tactic, this strategy. She reminds herself, it's what I'm doing adding value.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying adding value. So these are some of the things that you can just incorporate in your own life, and you start to see changes.
Yes.
Based on what Dr. Zippy is saying, you need to be asking yourself these kind of questions.
Yes, and and just to add on, Sandy, you hit it right on the head. Any hard season that you have, it's not wasted. It's not wasted. It's data. Don't own it and become like, yes, I've had some people get a hard season and they think that their life is done. I'm done for it. No, it's just data. Just look at it as it's data, and every struggle you're navigating right now is teaching you something that will become your superpower. Every struggle, it's teaching you something. So maybe it's resilience, maybe it's empathy, maybe it's clarity about what you'll never tolerate again. You know, like like me, I know for sure there are some things I'll never work, you know, like for anyone. I'll never say never, but you know, like I'm clear what I can't tolerate because of the hardship I went before I had tolerated some things. But here's a key, you know, we don't just survive. Use it. Ask yourself again, as I said, what is this teaching me? How is this shaping me into who I'm becoming? But and again, also don't. One of the other things I would say, don't go through life alone. You know, find your person, your accountability person. Find your people who remind you who you are when you forget. You know, because isolation makes everything harder. I told you I had a coach to help me, but if you're doing this by yourself, you need a coach. You need someone. If it means investing in yourself so that you're not in isolation, because isolation makes everything harder. And then also, I would tell the people, just know if you're going through a hard time, you're not broken, you're not behind, you are exactly where you need to be to become who you are meant to be. You remember I said about it's a part of your curriculum. Keep going. The world needs what you're building, even if you can't see it yet. Keep going.
Keep going. You've had that for yourselves.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love what Dr. Zippy says. She says, whatever you are going through, you need to see that as data.
It's data.
What is this situation helping me with? How is this situation going to shape me?
Yes.
And speaking of that, Dr. Zippy, with all these things that you have had to go through, the things that you've had to learn, the challenges,
yes.
How has that season shaped who you are today? What have you learned about yourself?
What I've learned that I am resilient. I am able to, there's no situation that's too, anything that comes to me, I'm capable of handling it because it came to me, it chose me. So I know everything that comes to me, I am capable of handling it. So that is the thing that has learned. So there's nothing, as I say, this is the curriculum of my life. Anything that comes to me tells me this is part of my curriculum. It's part of who I'm becoming. This was not for somebody else. This is mine. It's for who I'm becoming. And it means it will work out because ultimately we win. We all win. It's part of my curriculum and I'll go through it until the curriculum is done, until I graduate it. Yes.
Speak of mind shift. It takes a proper mindset shift to be able to look at situations from that angle. To say this situation was for me. It actually came looking for me. This situation that I'm going through.
Yeah.
Wow. So go on.
No, I'm saying that is it. Once you realize, because then that way you stop complaining, you stop blaming, and you stop shaming, and you take ownership. You're like, this is what my lot is for now.
Yeah.
It means if anything comes to you, I don't know whether I'm a believer, a believer of God, and I know there's nothing that is anything that comes to me has been allotted to me. It means I'm capable of handling it. It just means that. So I've owned it like that. Yeah. So it's a different mindset, but it's so critical in how you show up so that you're not completely crushed.
Yeah.
Because if you're crushed, then that's it. Then you'll always be complaining. Or it's that thing that crushed me, or it's that the reason I'm like this because of that thing. No, we don't want to be there. Because
definitely not.
If you're constantly thinking it's because of them, it's because of this, it's because of this, you'll never move forward because you don't take ownership. You don't take responsibility. You'll not be able to move forward. So you're always looking back and saying, oh, it's because of them. That's why I'm not. No, you say, this is it. So since this is a lot have been allocated, okay. It's me and my God. God has I will have to, something in this, it will work out. I just don't know how it looks like, but it means for it to come here, it means I'm able to carry it.
To carry it.
I'm able to carry
So,
it. I do not have to celebrate it, but I know I'm able to carry it. Yes.
So we need to stop saying it was them, because those fingers are pointing right back at you.
Yep.
Ownership.
Yeah,
ownership.
we have to take ownership. Yeah.
And you spoke about when things come our way, it's because, to be honest, it's because the Most High God knows that you're capable of dealing with that situation.
Yeah.
And even the Bible says we're not tested beyond our,
Yes.
I don't know how that verse goes.
Yes.
It's like, to summarize it, we are not tested beyond our capabilities.
Yes.
Every test that is brought our way is because the Most High knows that you are the candidate.
Yes.
Who can actually deal with this situation.
Yes. And God is with you. So God is with you. You're not doing this by yourself. God is with you. He says no eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind can even comprehend what the Lord has in store for those who love him. And so it doesn't matter if you are with him, it doesn't matter. You will see it will come through, however it comes through.
And before you go, if you can just give some encouragement to someone who could be going through, maybe they've lost their job, they are feeling hopeless.
Oh, yes. If someone, I think I mentioned it earlier, if you're going through a hard season, I want you to know this hard season isn't wasted. As again, I said, it's data. Just want you to remember that. Every struggle you're navigating right now is teaching you something that will become your superpower. Whatever it is, just own it. Don't just survive it. Like, own it and ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this shaping me, shaping who I'm becoming? And then think, what will I do differently because I went through this? Yes.
Awesome.
That is all what I'd say. Just think about that. Be encouraged. And again, I remember I said it earlier on, find your person, find a coach or a mentor, somebody you can work with. I have somebody I talk with every Friday, and I call her my partner. Actually, two people. We call them my partners in believing. And we believe, and every Friday, we've done this for years. Every Friday at 11 o'clock, we get to talk and we believe together and encourage each other. So, because you do not want to do this alone. And it can't be your partner, it can't be your spouse. It can be if your spouse, but find somebody who is committed to your vision and to your dream, and who can walk with you. Somebody who can support you and encourage you, and do it regular every week. I have somebody every week on Fridays. I have this person, and because of that, it keeps me updated, because I know by Friday, today is Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
I have to report what I did, what I said my week looks like. By Friday, I'll have to report, and then they tell me also, and then we encourage each other and give each other feedback, so that we see how to move forward, so that we don't fall through the cracks, because it's easy to fall through the cracks.
It is, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that advice. And before we jump off, in case someone who's watching this video who has resonated with your story, where can they find you, and how are you currently, if we just remind our audience how you are helping your clients, and where can they connect with you?
So right now, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Zippy Abla, Dr. Zip Abla on LinkedIn. And I think, Sandy, I'll send you the links, so you can link them out there. That's where I am on mostly. And I think that's the one that I think you can connect with me easily, because I have my landing page there. You can send me messages from there. It's the best way to connect with me right now.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Dr. Zippy. Really appreciate you taking the time and the advice that you've had to share with us today. And I'm sure a lot of my audience are going to benefit from this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you so much. What a grounding reminder from Dr. Zippy today, that happiness isn't something that we earn after we've done enough or helped enough. It's something that we are meant to live from. Happiness is something that you're meant to live from, meant to be tapping from.
Yeah.
So when we stop waiting for permission and start tending to our inner home, everything else begins to shift. Everything else starts to work out. That's your work, your health, everything else. So if today's episode has spoken to you, take a moment to reflect on where you might be renting in your own life. Instead of fully owning your own life, where are you pointing the blame? Who are you blaming for where you are? Like you've heard what Dr. Zippy said, you need to take ownership. There needs to be some self-reflection. Take ownership of where you are today. So if you have enjoyed today's conversation, and again, thank you for being part of the Breakthrough Moments with Sandy podcast. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to like this video, share it with a friend who needs to hear this, and don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss out on any of the conversations that we will be having on this platform. So thank you so much. I'm checking out. We'll see you in the next conversation. For now, we're saying bye-bye. Do take care.
Bye bye. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much, Sandy. Bye bye.